Hello, everybody. Suzanne Taylor King here for another edition of Unlock Your Way with STK. And what a better person to help us welcome in 2024 than my new friend, Cara Jean Wilson, taking Cara. Yes, I love it. Welcome.
Thank you, guys. It's already so good. What you missed before is Suzanne had me laughing so hard I spit coffee all over myself. Thank goodness we're on camera and y'all can't tell.
Nice. Yeah. You can't tell that I'm wearing workout pants and sneakers either. So, dress up on the top and play on the bottom.
Right.
What can I say? Well, we just had a really cool truth bomb that let's kick off with, because you and I have so much in common. I was a life coach. I was a health coach before I got so many business oriented that I started a business coach.
Oh no, did I freeze? Did you freeze? Oh, for schniggly piggets. It's going to come back any second because we're still counting. Well, I'm just going to talk at everybody. Hi, everybody. How we doing? Hi, Rob. Nice to see you. Super excited. I'm going to drink the coffee now before she makes me spit it again. Well, I don't know if you all can hear me, but what we were talking about before was work-life balance, and that you can't. You cannot balance your work and your life. Hi. Ooh, yay, this is one. Okay, so she is frozen. She'll come back in just a sec. So I'll just finish what she was saying. So we were literally just talking about this after she made me spit take. We were talking about work-life balance, right? And so I have this BS, this belief system that you cannot balance them. I just took over.
Thank you. Not sure what happened there, but hey, that's the magic of doing it live, and then it gets edited after by my fabulous producer, Jason Croft. So, yeah, glad we have that option. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay. You were saying,
yeah, there really is no separation of church and state, right? Yeah. When you're running your own business, it is your life. And if you don't have the two in alignment, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. The analogy I give when I'm talking with like CEOs and executives, because they're like, we really want to make sure that we have work-life balance for our team. I was like, excellent. How do you imagine doing that? How do you imagine that they're going to balance your work against their entire life? That's sort of like balancing some grains of sand against an entire beach. See how they'll never balance? That won't work. What about alignment?
Truly. What do you think the biggest hang up there is?
Oh, okay. So we're definitely getting right into my favorite soapbox moment. So this is, I believe, my BS, my belief system is that this is born from that 80s hustle culture, that corporate culture that said, work, work, work. We're going to take away your retirement. We're going to take away our severance packages. We're going to take away all the things that allow us to pay you more for doing more. But we still expect you to do more. In fact, we want you to do more with less and make it work. Okay, thanks, bye. Also work 60 hours, 70, 80 hours. There's still 4 hours a day for your family. Isn't that enough? That's balance.
Yeah. One of the things I heard not that long ago was one of my clients was expected to return an email from her boss at 10 o'clock at night.
Stop it.
And the next morning got a lecture for you didn't respond to my last email. I was asleep.
And also, you don't owe me. The audacity.
Yes, but I think that was so common, and there's still a lot of that. And I think that's why entrepreneurship has gotten so popular in the last 5 years. And it's because of that freedom from that, not only hustle, but that the demands of a 9 to 5 that extend after the 5.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is that? Parkinson's law, right? That's the one
Mhm.
that says that we will fill time regardless. And that
Yeah.
explains the entire that what do they call that project spread or this when the scope just keeps
Creep.
so suddenly it's 9 to 5, but really it's 8:30 to 5:30. But really, if you're gonna do
Mhm.
that, then it's 8 to 6. And I'm gonna also email you at 7. And
Yes. And yet, I'm gonna pull my notes because I'm doing a training on distraction in a couple weeks, and pulling some research this morning, and this is so appropriate because it's so astonishing. The numbers of distracted employees. Okay, listen to this. 60% of office workers or staff check their phone for messages, alerts, texts, notifications on social media, even when they don't notice the phone ringing.
yeah, oh,
So
absolutely.
your employees have distraction built in their pocket. Look, I got
Yeah.
notifications right there. I'm not even looking at that.
Right, yeah.
75% will take their phone to the bathroom at work and spend longer in the bathroom. What? Okay. Then 43% of workers are so upset about missing an email that they check it in the middle of the night.
I have several of those as clients. Yes. Yeah, that is really the most common behavior. So, okay,
Yeah.
nobody liked the pandemic. That's not what I'm saying. But the stuff that
Yeah.
we learned from it is pretty fantastic. All of these jobs had to go home, and these positions where for decades we said, oh no, this you have to come into the office to do the job.
Yes.
Turns out you don't. And and this corporate need to make sure I get what I want from you, right? Like you're
Mhm.
going to do for me and make my business successful. So put in more time. Uh,
Yeah.
totally backfired on them during the pandemic because they did all of these studies to make sure they were getting their productivity out of these people who are now home and would be way more distracted. Turns out people were accomplishing more in 40 minutes in an hour at home than they would in 2 hours at work.
Yeah. Yeah. And imagine that it did across a whole team of people. Um, I read a study once about the average employee wastes about $10,000 of time every year.
Yeah. Yes.
Cigarette breaks, water cooler breaks, gossip breaks, whatever.
Yeah.
And if you have a large organization, and this is your selling piece right here, Cara, right? How
Yeah.
much money could you possibly save that company on those wasted hours?
Oh my goodness. So I love this question. So actually, I would not count those as wasted hours. What I consider a wasted hour is not a cigarette break. It's not a water cooler break. It's not that 5 minutes, right? Is that the greatest? Yeah, burnout
Yeah.
for sure.
Yes.
Uh, what the biggest waste of time in my BS in corporate America are these hour-long meetings, these hour-long one-on-one development things, which are
Mhm.
great if you're working with like a business coach who needs that time. It's super intentional. They
Yeah.
have trained to be focused, intentional, impactful. Every one of those minutes is moving you forward. But unless you got trained as a coach, odds are that's not what you're doing in one of those meetings. Odds are you have 100 employees, and these hour-long one-on-ones or quarterly reviews
Oh,
where you're also trying to build in
yeah.
some development, and it's gross for everyone involved.
Mm.
So I came up when I worked at operations, when I had 100 employees and still was expected to develop while running a business. I figured out how to do these 15-minute clarity sessions so you could develop your team,
Nice.
you build accountability, you build trust, you let them become their own problem solvers,
Mhm.
which meant I had to do way less work, less micromanaging, less stress, less multitasking, to Rob's point, because I had other people. It's like leadership math. If you want to save money, recognize that if you do with people instead of at them, you accomplish more. So what
Yeah.
might take me 8 hours, with two of us is 4 hours, with four of us is 2 hours,
Mhm.
and it's just better.
Yeah, so much better.
Yeah.
Um, I know in a mentorship situation, when I've mentored other coaches, don't do that often, maybe, um, I've noticed that the multitasking in the online space is worse than in the real world
Oh
space.
yeah.
And I will say that to the point of when I was professionally in a dental office, I couldn't multitask. You know, I had a patient and I did that and then I went to the next one, right?
Yeah.
And as soon as I got into the online space, here's what I noticed. Oh my god, there's this over here, and there's this over here, and then FOMO was this
Yeah.
thing that I had never heard of that, my friend Mary is having a workshop and I need to be there. And oh, Kara's having a workshop and I want to see what she's talking about and I want to hear that. And
Mhm.
then oh, with a full calendar with nothing leading to revenue.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'd say that is the number one skill of 2020
Oh
is to
yeah.
have the ability to say no and focus on one thing. I want to hear how you do it
Oh
because
my God. I love that you went right there. Suzanne, this is how I know that we align so
I know.
beautifully. Because legitimately, the first argument I pick
Uh-huh.
when I'm working with the C suites on doing development for their company, the first fight I pick is how much are you removing from your team's plate?
Yes.
Like, legitimately, if you want to enable them to be able to achieve the tasks you want them to do, make
Yeah.
less tasks, take
Mhm.
things away from them so
Yes.
that what they're doing is actually important, is actually
Mhm.
impactful. What is it? Pietro's principle, right? Isn't that
Yes.
the 80-20 rule?
80/20. Yeah.
And we see this, I mean, we know it's true in tomatoes. We know it's true in
Mhm.
sales. We know it's true in marketing. Like, we know
Yeah.
across the board that 80% of what we get comes from only 20% of what we
Mhm.
did. What if instead of trying to do more for less, we did less and achieved more?
Yeah. No, that's not some airy-fairy crap either.
No.
It's based in research and science, which I was a science major in college, so you gotta appeal to my science linear thinking, all about the
Right.
woo-woo stuff, but you have to appeal to the science
Yes.
behind
I
it.
need both.
I need both. I
Yeah.
need you to prove it to me based on facts, and it's plain and simple that when you decide your goals, and this is what I love about you, is that deciding your goals doesn't have to be a hard thing to get there. It's only hard when you're
Yeah.
doing too many at a time.
That one. Yeah.
And I learned the hard way. I'm speaking from a radical experience with
Me
this.
too.
So,
So
right?
much failure.
And I think my favorite thing is the not to do list. Favorite.
Oh my God. Yes. Uh-huh.
And I think the
Stuff it
hard
in the
part
bucket.
of it, and I'd love for you to speak a little bit to the ability to say no to things, not only because you feel like you're going to miss out on Cara Jean's workshop, but the ability to say no and not care if somebody's mad at you for saying no.
Yeah. Oh, so that is why I do leadership development. Leadership development is literally designed for those chronic stressors. So that's it's
Yes.
literally created because when you start working with other people, when you navigate this meat suit
Mhm.
in a universe full of other meat suits, there
Yes.
is trauma and drama and a mess all the way around. That's just
Yes.
how it works. So the more grace you can have and learn for yourself, the easier it is to have for others. One of my
Mhm.
favorite sentences, and my dad taught me this when I think I was like 8 years old. He was CEO of Citicorp at the time. And he said, "This is how you say no without ever having to say no. Thank you so much for considering me for that. I am unavailable at this time."
Mhm.
But that's not no. That's not I don't like what you said. That's not I
Right.
dismiss it. That is
Right.
thank you. Thank you for thinking of me. Unfortunately, I'm not available right this moment.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's totally okay.
Yes.
My I have another one. So that's a l write that listening, write that down. It's all my favorite when people request a meeting with me, my mentor taught me about 5 years ago, "In what capacity would you like to meet with me?" And I was like,
Mm,
I can ask that?" And when I started asking, here's what I noticed. "Oh, I just need to pick your brain on." "Great, I have openings for that in 6 months."
yes. Mhm.
"Oh, what do you mean?" "Well, my time is reserved for my paying clients and people who want to become paying clients." "Oh, well, I wanna become a paying client." It shifts the
Yeah.
perspective of picking your brain to something of value. How do you stop wanting to please everyone that reaches out to you? Tell me,
Ooh,
because I need help.
right? Oh, so this is such a big, huge, I mean, I don't even know if we have time in this time to go over all of the
Mhm.
minutia. Uh, but here is my BS around this. So when we are working to please others, what we are working towards is the appearance of pleasing others. Because let's be real, other
Yeah.
people just don't think about us any more than we think about them. When we think about them, we're thinking about what they're thinking about us. So we're really still just thinking about us. Which is
Huh.
also exactly what everyone else is doing. As the center of our little universe,
Yeah.
obviously, we're kind of involved in what's going on here.
Mhm.
And so are they. They're not thinking the things that we are so aware of in our personal life and our personal minutiae, the failures that we go through. Nobody sees that. They see the highlight reel we put out in the world. Oh, Michael, I love you, honey.
Oh, go
Yes. Sorry, got distracted.
that's okay.
So that to be able to shift from people pleasing to actually being pleased,
Mm,
it's all about ourselves.
yeah.
What is going to make you happy rather than what if, and here's the reality, you don't, but what if you didn't have control over other people? What if there was simply not enough duct tape on the planet to do anything with any of
Yeah.
that? And all you had control over was this meat suit. You control the way you think, the way you speak, and the way you behave. If that's all you ever had control over, what would you choose to do with that?
Yeah.
What would change?
Yeah.
Because that, focusing on what you can control, that's how you stop feeling like you have to please everyone else because you realize that's not in your control.
Yeah. And that's
Go back.
truly when you can sell what you do with such authenticity, clarity, that you're not affected when somebody says, "No, I don't need a coach right now," or "I don't need business growth right now," or "I don't need that." Instead of feeling like it's something personal, and I think this is where so many entrepreneurs struggle with that. "Oh, God, I've had 10 no's in a row. That means my offer's bad and I need to do it and I need to spend 3 months analyzing." No, no. You
Yeah.
need to talk to more people. You need to
Yeah.
make more offers to people.
Mhm. When I talk shop, when we lean into the business side of what I do, that is
Mhm.
one of the concepts I spend hours and hours and hours with people on is an
Mm,
offer gets you a yes or a no, but that's not a conversion. That you can, would you
correct.
like to go to dinner? Would you like to see a movie? Would you be my friend? Can I connect you to the amazing Michael Bloomquist or the amazing Rob Finstermaker? you say yes to those, that's an offer that got a yes. And
Mhm.
when you start looking at offers as just that, as
Yeah.
just an offer, it's not an obligation. You're not obliged. Nobody is obliged to say yes to your offer. And you're not obliged to say yes to theirs. No one is obligated in that. It's an offer. And
Yeah.
when you make these offers and you stop making it about you, but making it about the offer, about them,
Yeah.
you start hearing way more yeses. And then it's way easier to offer them something that is a conversion that says, hey, you've said yes to this, you've said yes to this, you've said yes to this. Would you like
Mhm.
more? It costs this. How's that feel?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's really beautiful too. When, you bring somebody into your world and you have a connection and you provide value to that person, whatever that looks like. And I would rather do it that way than be out there me selling my stuff. But I want to say one more thing about offers and get your insight. It occurred to me that if somebody's conversion rate that for an actual coaching engagement or training engagement, if they get one yes out of 5, they have to make so offers to fill their income, their client goals, than they realize. And I think a lot of people, again, 80/20, if you're getting, success here, you have to do that more.
Oh my God.
But
Yes.
so many people, and I did it. I did this for a long time.
Learn from my mistakes. Yes, you're welcome. Yes.
Thank you. Yeah,
Years.
years of understanding that my clients every single time came conversation, knowing them, knowing their struggles, knowing their problems, even when I was a health coach,
Yep.
then sending DM or making a
Yes.
post on social.
Oh, yes.
None of those things ever brought me clients. It would bring people closer to me.
Yes. Yes. A lead is not a client. Ooh, say it again. A
Oh,
lead is not a client.
we should make a rap song about that.
Somebody mix that, right? Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
That very often. And I don't touch offers a lot because I like to give that to people who are experts in that. I have if you are working on your offer, absolutely talk to Suzanne. And if that doesn't work, well, I have a list of people I can connect you with. But the thing I know that has consistently been proved true is it's less about the offer and who you are offering it to.
Hmm. Yeah.
And it's to that. It's a lead, it's not a client. If you're getting 4,000 leads on your you get 10 hot leads every single week from the person you're paying to get you leads, and each one of them wants coaching.
Mm-hmm.
But 8 out of the 10 want business coaching and you're a life coach. It's not really about the offer.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's about who you're offering it to.
Yeah. Well, that's where that whole, I didn't realize
Yes.
that the ideal client base was so much deeper. And thank you to Melissa Henry for educating me the demographics of your ideal client, but also the psychographics of your ideal client was huge
Oh,
for me.
yeah.
And as soon as I understood it, like at a really granular level,
Mm-hmm.
my business tripled because I was able to, on a regular basis, identify those people through not just what they looked like and what their job title was, but from the interaction we were having and from the conversations that we were having. And this life changing to look at my current client roster and say, oh my God, every single one of them, except for 2, fits the same description
Yeah.
What?
Mhm. Mhm. I have a type.
And
Who knew?
well, I have a type with husbands, I have a type with clients, obviously.
Yeah.
Like,
And that's it. We all have a type. That's a thing.
yeah, yeah.
Um, so that twofold, I speak about that. If you want to find your people, you have to
Mhm.
wave. That's the authenticity. It is a trigger
Yeah,
word and it gets thrown around all over. But if
yeah.
I'm going to boil it down to simple, it's you got to wave your freak flag real tall so the rest
Mhm.
of the freaks can find you. Those are your people. That's
Oh, yeah,
important.
yeah,
And then
and if you
the first step in any
uh-huh,
kind of sales call, whether even if it's just a networking call, the first
mhm.
step is for my clarity is, do you care?
Do you care?
Do you care to ask a follow-up question? Do you care to know more about them? Because if you don't, then you're not going to be able to help them because you don't care. This is true in leadership. This is true in entrepreneurship. This is true in business. If you don't care, you're not going to be the right person. But if
Yeah,
you care and you want to know more, get to know more. Listen first. Find out, do they have a problem? Do you have an offer for it? Make that offer. And it might not be you. Ideally, the first three aren't you.
yeah.
Ideally, you're trying to build their support network because then they're a more whole person and you can help them even better.
Oh my gosh,
Right?
so
Yes.
good. So good. I was in a breakout room not too long ago where I didn't feel like taking the lead, and I usually do. I
Hmm.
usually because I'm used to facilitating, so I usually just move it right along. And I was tired. I didn't feel it. I had been on all day, and nobody in that room told me what they did for a living or who they serve or who they wanted to meet. And I sat there listening to a very meaningless conversation. And I thought, this is supposed to be business time, growing your business time, meeting people time. And you've missed a huge opportunity getting to know me, but also I missed out.
I
So
don't know anything about you.
time.
Yeah.
So say let's talk a little bit about how we got connected and the magic of that.
Yes.
Um, good. And this goes to the power of in meetings, paying attention, listening to other people, and providing value a chance.
Mm. Yeah.
So I get a text message from a very close connection of mine, Daniel Andrews. It's 4 o'clock on I'm not sure what day, but I'm usually done work by 4 o'clock. So I was in the kitchen starting dinner and I see my phone light up and it's Daniel. So I'm going to answer him. And he says, "What are you doing right now?" I'm like, "Making dinner." And he's like, "Can you hop in a meeting?" And I was like, "Where? What? Why?" "Well, they were talking about you.
Yeah.
Somebody mentioned you, and then somebody else mentioned you. And I said out loud, I can pull her into the room. Let me text her." And everybody was like, "What?" Uh, well,
And
I
y'all,
felt
you should have seen this room. It was like he said, I can get Oprah on the phone. Everyone was like, what? Really? And then she shows up. And it was like Oprah walked into the room. We're like, Susan Ann's TV. She's here. Taylor King's here. Taylor King's here. Hi.
I'm really not a big deal.
Oh,
Um,
good. So you would
really
never have
not.
known that based on the response in this room. You would have literally thought Oprah had just walked into the room.
It was
100%.
freaking cool. It
That's
was
amazing.
freaking cool. But more than that, it catapulted my relationship. It advanced it
Yeah.
further down the line than it would have
Immediately.
been, right? And it fostered a relationship with Leon, who runs the group. We're going to
Yeah.
be doing some things together, pulling our groups together, which is really cool. And met, I don't know how many other wonderful, wonderful people that I would have never circle of people. So here's the interesting thing. Don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid. That was huge value for me. Daniel provided value to you guys, but also it was to me talk about
To
me.
be in a room when you're not in the room. Yeah.
Whew, yes, and that's that borrowed trust, um, other people's people, getting people to talk about you, and I wanna compliment you because you do this very, very well, and I felt like I met, like, a kindred spirit. I'm like, "Oh, people know her and talk about her like they do me." She's funny and
That's
kind
fun.
and warm and really, really cool to hang out with. And isn't that what you want when you're building your network of people and hiring somebody that you're gonna spend a ton of time with? It needs to be like
Yes.
that, and I just had to
Yeah.
compliment you on your reputation.
That's very fun to hear. Thank you.
Welcome. You're welcome. Um, oh, we have a couple comments. This is good.
Yeah, I'm totally distracted over here. Yes.
Um,
Never be afraid to ask. Yeah.
never be afraid to ask. That is huge because I was afraid to ask for years. Love it.
I think of that as the same as choice, right? Like you
Yeah.
have to make a choice. Because if you don't make a choice, that is a choice. And that choice is a guaranteed nothing's going to happen. So
Mhm.
if you're afraid to ask, you are choosing not to ask, which means you're choosing the automatic no. If you
Yeah.
choose to ask, you might get a different answer.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Because you're actually choosing to stay mediocre. You don't ask.
Yes. Yeah.
I love it.
You're letting fear
Um,
win. Stop that. Stop that. You're too powerful for that. Knock it off.
yeah, Rob says, "Proven fact that 100% of the times you fail to make the ask, you will not what you get out of life." Yes, Rob,
Yes.
that's for
Boom.
sure. Love
Speaking
it.
of another exceptional coach.
Yeah. And he leads sometimes with a picture of himself from high school, which I just have to say, Rob was smoking hot in high school.
Yeah. Yeah, he definitely would have been like the one that you walk by in the hallways and you're like, "Oh, hi."
Oh, looking like Brad Pitt in high school. Wow. All right. So, Rob, you can take that clip and use that in promotion if you
Wherever
want.
you need. Yes,
Feel
my
free.
permission as well.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about community, how you're going to provide some value for the community. How can everybody get in, well, find you? Where do you hang out? What platform? How can they get in touch with you? And then what do you have going on right now that's totally awesome?
Okay, so I am super easy to find. I think I'm on all of the socials: TikTok, Twitter, Instagram,
You're
Facebook,
on the TikTok?
Alignable, LinkedIn.
You're
I'm
on
on
the
all of them.
TikTok?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I post a lot on TikTok because I think I'm hilarious.
Oh, I can't wait for this one.
Yeah. And I think I did one live just the other day because we were reading The Secret Garden and I read this section on magic and I was like, people need to know this. This is from years, but this is that still applies today. And
Uh-huh.
I'm like, I gotta read to you guys. So I randomly jump on and do those things. You can
Awesome.
reach me really easily. Text me 509-845-0800. Text, don't call. I don't answer numbers I don't recognize, but I will text back right away. Email me, Cara Jean at takingcareofbusiness.com. And if you want to come hang out and just, you're like, okay, so she seems pretty cool, but I'm going to like dabble in that water a little bit first. Come
Yeah.
find me on Facebook at Cara Corner, where every Monday we do a review. Every Friday we
Ooh.
do an open walk and talk. It's open time to come hang out, ask your questions, pool other people's genius. And those are probably the easiest ways to come find me and find more about me.
I love it.
Please.
I do walk and talks too.
I know when I saw that, I was like, oh my girl, yes.
I do. I can't tell you how many times, especially it's a little cold right now. I'm not really walking at 7 in the morning like I used to. But as soon as the weather warms up and it's sunny at 7 a.m., I'll be back to doing that. And I would tell people, you want to talk to me? I'm open at 7 a.m.
Yes.
Yeah.
And mine started, we built a labyrinth in our front yard. So I would hold the camera so we could walk the labyrinth together, and then we would talk shop while we did it, which was way fun. The house caught on fire about a year and a half ago, and we're not there anymore. My folks are back in it, so that might happen possibly a few times before we kick off for our adventure. But that's where it started. And it started because I put a challenge out to my CEOs. And it was that I wanted to do an hour. I was going to gift them an hour. Yes, LinkedIn user, we are. I said I would gift them an hour of coaching if they did it on a treadmill. And then after the first, and they were like, this is hard. It's hard to, like, they'd get out of breath. They'd have to go slower so they could think more. And I was like, I want you to bring one person from your operations team to the next call, just one, and watch what happens. And no joke, the operations manager not only walked faster and further, but kept up better in the conversation, because their literal job is to figure out how to think on their feet. And too often as a CEO, we're so separated from the operations. As an entrepreneur, we don't get that. We are operations and executive. You got to do it all. But when we grow and we expand, it's almost like Alice in Wonderland. She moves so far away from her feet. She's like, but who's going to keep them dry? I'll send them fresh boots every year.
Yeah. Truly. Truly, it's that separation. So I think one of your zones of genius is really the integration of that. Because, if you're separated from your team, if you're separated from the day to day, and I see many entrepreneurs that grow to a certain point, and that this is some of my resistance giving up some of my tasks, because I want to be the content creator. I want to be the person doing the videos, and like I need that because it's part of me. But at the same time, if you don't delegate, if you don't integrate, the operations, the SOPs, all the things, I can't function in my zone of genius. And the entrepreneurs, that you and I work with, the business owners, they can't either. And I love how you explain it. It really, really makes sense and super clear, super fun. And what's your word for 2024?
Oh, good question. 2024 is my achievement year. So in doing the Cara method in my own business. So I've been in business about 4 years now. The first year was so much learning, so much clarity. It's a great way. Clarity was a pretty word for that year. So many thousands of dollars in clarity is what I spent that year. And then the second year I assessed, I spent way more time like just asking people, what do you need? What concerns you? What are the problems? What's going on? How can I help? Then I realigned this last year and decided. So one of the things that we're rolling out this year is I'm going to teach the clarity session. So I've done well over 7,000 of them, and they're great. And I used to teach them at a corporate place. Now I'm going to offer this again so that other people can have this tool. And this year is going to be the year of achieving that. The other thing that we're achieving this year, and this is sideways from what we're talking about sort of, but we're talking about community, so it leads into that. My family is launching what we call WHAM, the Wilson Adventure Mobile, and we were actually going to tour the US and go visit a bunch of different eco villages, because one of the things that I want to make happen in this world is absolutely dismantling that corporate hustle culture and leaning into this new normal neuro leadership, right? Where we're both woo-woo and scientific, and we care for the person where they are with what they need. And I want us to recreate our cultures around community.
Let me know where you're going to be. And yeah, that sounds amazing. Congratulations on all that you've accomplished in such a short time. And I'm really excited for you to be in my tribe and me to be in yours. And thank you for being on the podcast today. And thanks to all of our listeners. And if you need to get in touch with Cara, comment below. She'll reach out to you. Same with me. The Idea Lab for Entrepreneurs is free on Facebook. But if you want to take your business to the next level, our membership platform starts at $10 a month, which is going away January 2nd. So your only option for $10 a month is now till January 2nd. After that, that's going away. So that was my open offer to all of my free followers, turning them into paid members and really upping the value that you get out of community. So that's my goal. My word for 2024 is focus, hence the training on distraction proofing your business.
Oh my God, I love that.
I love it too. I'll invite you. Don't worry.
Thank you.
All right, guys, have a great new year. And Cara, thank you so much for being here.
Suzanne, this was amazing. My goodness, I could literally spend hours and hours with you. It could be so dangerous.
I know. We'll do it again.
Thanks, everyone.